I want to touch base with you as we are beginning Module 3 because Module 2 was due on Friday and I have now graded everything that was submitted in Module 2. One thing about Module 2 and Module 1, some things that I'm noticing, there's excellent participation in discussion boards. You guys are posting in a timely manner and giving each other overall plenty of time to respond, and that's really important, and I really appreciate that level of professionalism in class. That's awesome. I'm also seeing really strong application tests. The only thing I sometimes see is that you're not always providing enough examples. I do expect 10 examples or bullets for each of the items. I strongly encourage you not to list things across, but to provide bullets in the format. That's really helpful in grading, and it makes sure that I am counting each example that you are intending to give. It's very clear. Whereas when you list it out with commas, it's not always as clear about how many examples you think you've given versus how many I actually count. So I would encourage you to use bullets totally. Some struggling that I saw across with lots of students, with the class in general, was open-ended questions, complex vocabulary, sentence starters. And this is really difficult because it really goes against what I think we naturally expect. I think unfortunately our society is more of a skill and drill kinds of society and prompting, and we want to create more thought, problem solving. That's where that complexity comes in place. And so I'm actually, and I'll talk about this again, I am going to offer an extra credit opportunity. I haven't exactly decided what it's going to be, but I will offer some extra credit here soon, and we're going to focus on open-ended questions, conversation starters, and complex vocabulary. I really want to drive that home because it is so essential to literacy development overall. So, but kudos to everyone. I'm really pleased with how class is going, how everyone is engaging, and I cannot tell you how much easier that's going to make this class for you. So keep that up. I know it's tough. I totally know it's tough. All of you have so much on your plates. Okay. Module 2, something new. You have a blog. You have a blog that you can do right now before you read anything. And I would encourage you to do this blog ASAP. You don't have to read for Module 3. You can do this based off Module 2. Principle, that's what will you do now? Now that you've learned all these things about oral language, what will you engage in with your kids? So, for example, I would hope everyone would say, I will give my students time to talk. I will quit shushing my students, and my students will talk in the classroom more than they listen to me. That would be like one hope. And you can use that if you want. The connection to research is we know children have to use language, and the more opportunities they have to use language and to engage in meaningful conversations, their reading and literacy development will be stronger, period. Boom, done. Kansas Early Learning Standards, what does that, which one does that connect to? So I'm just gonna flip open to my Kansas Early Learning Standards. And if I then I flipped to communicational literacy, I'm flipping to foundational skills. No. Speaking and listening, comprehension and collaboration, presentation of knowledge, conventions of standard English, vocabulary acquisition and use. That's what I'm going with. So that would be CL.LS.I.1. And then I'd list the toddler one. I'd list the second toddler, the mobile infant, the toddler, the preschool. I'm just going to list the numbers, and I'd say vocabulary acquisition and use. So you could even do just CL.LS. Vocabulary acquisition and use. And that's the subtitle, the benchmark for those numbers. That's my connection. That easy. It's a blog. I think you have to give me 5. The directions are in the module. Do that ASAP. You can do that easily. Next, 2 assignments, video journal and the 2 truths, 1 lie. The video journal. I provided this assignment to give you credit for watching these videos that I'm wanting you to watch. This is that assignment right here. So just give an example that you see in infant toddler. So what's an example of comprehension in one of the infant toddler videos that you're seeing? What about one of the preschool examples? Connecting to a story for infant toddler versus connecting to a preschool. Can you use the videos from module 2 and some of those that you watched for the SMART goals and the other videos? Yes, definitely use those. So there was a singing video. Where would that fit? There was a fine motor video. Where would that fit? Following directions. That's the kind of stuff I'm wanting you to do. You can only use the video once. And so so here I say there's 14 potentials, but look, you only have to provide 10. So there's 14 boxes. You only have to have 10 of them filled. Make sure you read those directions carefully so you don't work yourself too hard. Okay. All right, coming back here, 2 truths, 1 lie. In general, I am very happy with the way you guys are participating in those discussion boards. You understand the format correctly, and you'll notice I'm reusing the format to make these assignments easier so you're focused in on the content. Only improvement I would ask here is the lie. So for oral language, for example, maybe you said the lie was a physical activity game, like a PE game, like skipping rope, oral language. And you said, you know, it didn't allow for free choice because you were requiring the kids to skip rope. Okay, maybe that's true, but that focus isn't on oral language. I want the focus on oral language. So perhaps the lie would be that you required students to repeat chants when you were exercising. Well, we know that just repeating adults is not a helpful strategy in teaching vocabulary or getting children to use words, but instead modeling, singing, so using skip rope rhymes, and that we've all heard growing up. That would be a positive. That would be a way to tweak this. And again, I'm randomly using PE, which most of us wouldn't have experience with, but outdoor time. So, you know, just off the top of my head, I saw some that where the lies were about the creative experience. And although that's true, the focus here is oral language. So when you do this 2 truths, 1 lie, make it about the reading extensions, and the reading as the focus, not the other areas that it might be integrated with. Okay, so just be careful of that. I will start deducting points on that. I haven't yet, but I will. Items of particular interest in this module. You will write your first lesson plan, and I'm asking you to videotape yourself reading aloud a book. And you can be pretending to read it to kids, or you can actually read it with a kid. So if you have a child and you want to read a book with your child, you can. If you have a friend or somebody with a child, you can use that. If you want to do it in your classroom, you may. And if you just want to pretend you're reading, you may. I will expand on both this lesson plan and the read aloud practice later this week. I'm not going to do it today on Monday, but I will do it later this week. I wanted to focus in on some of these other assignments first. And just to reiterate, I kind of want you to think about targeting so you don't stress yourself out. You guys have been doing a really good job. By Thursday, I would strongly encourage you to have those oral language practices blogs up and your video journals submitted. Then over the weekend, you can finish through the module readings. This module has quite a bit of supplemental material out there, so that's going to take some time, but it's really good stuff, which is unfortunately why there's so much, because I had a hard time picking what was the best, and there's just so much information out there. So I really I want to give you as much as I can without being too redundant. Get that 2 truths, 1 lie discussion board done as soon as you get your readings done. So if you can have over the weekend those items done, then next week that allows you to get through that lesson plan and the read aloud practice. And then by Friday, your test and your application test, which again, you guys have been doing really, really well on. Can you use your module notes when you take that module test? Yes. You can do it. I'm not there to proctor you. I can't ensure that everybody's doing it from memory. And so that's kind of why I don't address it. But, you know, please use those notes. That's also why I have you take the notes, is because they're helpful in you retaining the information. I want you to retain the information, but also I hope through all these assignments, what you're getting to is I want you to be able to apply it and analyze and problem solve as a teacher. So these are kind of your targets. Extra credit. I will have extra credit. I will promise it by module 4. But don't worry about it. It'll be posted, and I'll say, you know, what it's worth and what you need to do. So don't fret about it now. As a class, though, I am very, very, very pleased with how everybody is doing. You're staying with the group. Everybody's getting work in. We're being pretty thorough. I did send out some ESPs on tips and reminders, but just keep up the solid work. We've got really good things going on. I'm excited. I'm really excited to be able to watch you read and think about what you learn, and that's really going to be influenced by what you read and watch in those supplemental materials. Don't hesitate to holler with questions, and I hope maybe this little video entry into Module 3 is helpful.